So it looks like Ukrainian sanctions are really working. Ukrainian sanctions aren't really like economic sanctions. It's just that they're blowing up Russian refineries, and the hits keep coming. Now it was north of 20% of destroyed or out of out of being able to work Russian refinery production. That's a poor way of saying that, I know, but the hits keep coming. Yesterday, there was a big hit. Today, there's a big hit. Let's talk about today, and then we'll talk about the aftermath of yesterday. So the moment from the drone strike on Russia's Novo-Ufa oil refinery, 1,350 kilometers from the front line. And so this isn't nothing, right? And it's a good hit. Novo-Ufa oil refinery with capacity of 7.5 million tons of oil per year was attacked by drones in Ufa, Russia. Novo-Ufa oil refinery is located, again, 1,350 kilometers from the front line. And look at that smoke plume. Like, that's okay. So it's not that they hit this and now it's all over, but it's 2% here and 3% there and 1% there, and it builds collectively to where we've got to be well north of 20 into 25-ish%, something in that neighborhood. Okay, here's yesterday. Ukraine's drones shut down Russia's key Baltic terminal for the first time. This was carried in the Euromaidan press, including hitting these two ships. And so, well, maybe not these two ships, but they hit two ships. And let's look at this. Here, Ukrainian security service drones attacked Russia's northwestern port of Primorsk on September 12th, hitting two tankers and forcing the suspension of operations at the country's largest western oil export terminal for the first time. Two tankers, Kosto and Kayun, were hit by the attack. The fires broke out on one of the vessels in the port and the pumping station, and the oil shipments were suspended. The attack prompted temporary suspension of operations at St. Petersburg Pulkovo Airport due to the drone threat. Oil prices, now this is why I'm saying this, because this just happened yesterday, and this is what the effect was of yesterday's attack. And it's like, a daily attack almost every 2 or 3 days. There's something going on. Oil prices rose by nearly 2% following the attack as markets reacted to the suspension of loadings at the strategic facility. Nearby Ust-Luga port, which has been operating at half capacity since the August strike. So, right? I mean, it's just one thing on top of the other. So that's what I'm trying to show you here, is that there's like all these things keep compiling, and it's a cumulative thing. It's almost like a grade, right? When you get a bad grade on a test, and then a bad grade on an assignment, and a bad grade, and it wasn't okay, so it was only a small percentage of your grade, but pretty soon you're down to a B or a C or a D, right? Like, it keeps degrading, and that's what's happening here. Okay, long-range drones are the best sanctions on Russian oil, proven during the August campaign. And then these are guys from the 14th Regular Army, the drone unit. Look, I'm telling you, like, August was really, really bad for the Russians as far as hitting the oil refineries, and September seems to be on track. I don't think it's quite as bad as August was so far, but there's still more than half a month to go in September, and they're doing a really efficient job at doing what they're doing. Okay, meanwhile, a factory burned down in Irkutsk region, claimed to be a plywood manufacturer, but the commentary here was, with nationwide military mobilization of industries, it's difficult to know for sure that it's just plywood. Maybe it is just plywood, but who knows? Like, you can't actually be sure. According to the well-informed channel I can't pronounce, 2 Russian Panzer S-1 systems were destroyed in the past 24 hours. The first strike hit an airfield in occupied Luhansk around 2 a.m. with Ram 2X drone. The second attack took place in the Donetsk region, also eliminating a Panzer S-1, though the type of drone used is unknown. So the Russians are getting to this point where they're having to borrow and beg to be able to get what they're trying to get to. Putin famously said, like, I was going to show this clip and I decided not to. It was just Putin saying, like, there's never enough money. Now, that's an economic principle of scarcity, but he's kind of right. And when you have to go to North Korea to get your help right? That becomes problematic. Or when you have to go back and do this, Russia has reportedly approached Turkey with a proposal to buy back the S-400 systems that were delivered to Ankara in 2019. The two systems were purchased by Turkey for 2.5 billion in 2017. So they have to do that. By the way, so and part of this is like the half-life of the missiles is, already starting to age. So, I mean, that might not be a bad deal for Turkey. Whether they take it or not, I don't know. Turkey's a weird duck. It is kind of an ally of the West, and it's kind of leans toward Russia, and it's kind of trying to be neutral. And yeah. Okay. Ukraine's electronic warfare systems have become more effective against Russian Kinzhal missiles, making hits less frequent. Suspline reports, citing general staff sources. Faster missiles are more vulnerable to jamming. I don't know why that is. I don't understand. If you understand that, put that in the comments below, because I don't understand it. Russia has already lost at least 1.5 billion countering electronic warfare. Forced to equip bombs and Shaheds with costly CRPA antennas worth $10,000 to $17,000 each. So yeah, that's good that they're innovating. This is a war of innovation. Whoever innovates technologically more efficiently, faster, gets there with what's the line from who won the battle? Well, the one that got there the fastest with the mostest. Like with the most horses. This was like during days of cavalry. Okay. Meanwhile, Ukraine's air defense downed or suppressed 137 out of 164 Russian drones launched overnight. Despite interceptions, a missile and 27 drones hit 9 locations, debris falling in 3 others. So it's still coming. And it's 165. This is kind of an average night here. I mean, I know it sounds weird to say an average, but it's not low like they're saving up. This is them using up their stocks for the day. Okay, yesterday I posted this, and it got fewer views than it should, and I'm not sure why. It may be because I posted too late. That could be. Maybe you didn't like the thumbnail or whatever, but this is a really important video. What the experts missed about Russia's attack on Poland. Listen, the next thing that you should watch is this video, because it's talking about everything that we already know, or what is the standard lines that are coming out, as well as other thoughts about why Russia was doing what it was doing. It's not conspiratorial, but it's just trying to look and trying to figure out what the Russian motivations are. Please look at that next. And because of that attack on Poland, you see things like this. Estonia is closing its eastern border airspace after the drone attacks. Finland, Latvia, Estonia have now all restricted civilian flights near the Russian borders as Ukrainian drone operations targeting facilities in St. Petersburg and Leningrad region. And then Lithuania is they haven't closed it, but so Lithuania borders mostly Belarus, and then Kaliningrad whatever, I don't remember what the term is, just a moment. But it where Latvia and Estonia actually share the real border. Lithuania is ready to close its border with Belarus at any moment. This was stated by Lithuanian Interior Minister. The declaration is linked to Russia's violation of Polish airspace with drones earlier this week, and the joint Russian-Belarusian military exercises Zapad. Now, remember, they have a good reason to be anxious. Now, I've seen some commentators say World War III is starting in 3 days, 3 days ago, because of Zapad, and that the military exercises were going. I don't think that's right. I think you have a good reason to be nervous, because what happened in 2022 was right on the backside of the military exercises. Lithuania will keep its border with Belarus open for now, but the State Border Guard Service has been authorized to close indefinitely in the event of a provocation. So they're prepared for it, but that doesn't mean anything's going to happen. But hey, you never know. Stranger things have happened before. Okay, now this is part of the exercises, it looks like. So they just have, in the middle of a highway, a missile hanging out there. That's nothing to see here. This is Russia. This is in Kaliningrad. That's the X-crop, Exclave. Ha, I got it. Exclave. That's the word I was looking for. It's reported that Russia has deployed an Iskander missile near the Polish border in Kaliningrad region. I cannot verify the authenticity of the video, says Anton Gurashenko, but okay, so that maybe that's part of the military exercises across Russia, Belarus, and even into Kaliningrad, which is part of Russia. 950 Russians off the battlefield day over day, 4 tanks, 1 armored fighting vehicle, 39 artillery systems, 109 vehicles and fuel tanks. Okay, so where does that leave us? Engagements are near average. Casualties are slightly above. There's a strong increase in equipment losses, land-based as well as drones. Weekly drone losses at a record level. Okay, that's where we are. 39 or 37 assaults in Pokrovsk day over day. Again, they're chipping away at it, but very slowly because they don't really have the ability to do more. The drones in the sky have become a minefield. I don't remember who gave me one of my viewers gave me that metaphor of the drone in the sky being a minefield. I said, hey, I want to use that. That's a really good line. Okay, so Russian ground forces. This is the Defense Intelligence Update. Now, you know that there's 150,000 or so Russians massing outside Pokrovsk. And that sounds terrible, and probably is terrible. But when I read this, I thought, if this is correct, then that's not the boogeyman that you would think it would be. Okay, let's read the Defense Intelligence Update. Russian ground forces likely seized between 450 and 500 square kilometers of Ukrainian territory in August 2025. That's kind of low, right? A moderate decrease from approximately 500 to 550 taken in July 2025, and the approximately 550 to 600 taken in June. So it seems like it's on a downward trend. This follows a month-on-month increases from March 2025 to June 2025. It's likely that counterattacks by the Ukrainian armed forces in the vicinity of Pokrovsk, Kupiansk, and Sumy contributed to the moderate reduction in the rate of Russian territorial gains in August 2025. Yeah, Sersky did say that they actually had regained some ground in here, and like in Pokrovsk, they actually took more ground back than they lost because of the bunny ear thing. Okay. Russian ground forces continue to use modified tactics and have moved from utilizing mass to achieve territorial gain. Okay, so this is really, really important. So again, they have continued to use modified tactics and have moved from utilizing mass to achieve territorial gain to attacking with small infantry assault groups supported by artillery, glide bombs, and uncrewed aerial systems. This has likely contributed to the reported reduction in Russian monthly casualty, killed, and wounded rates, while the high operational tempo is maintained across the front line and steady territorial gains continue to be made. So they're losing fewer soldiers, and you can see that we've been talking about, 900, 800, maybe even down to 700 something, right? It's been like that for the last month, and you're going like, what's going on? Okay, so they're not sending in mass, which means if the new tactics are to just use these small groups, they can, with that mass, use these small groups forever. But that mass isn't going to be used to overrun things like you would think it was. I mean, maybe they're going to do some kind of crazy, huge meat wave assault with, putting in all 100,000 or something. But I don't think that's what's going to. I think they're just going to continue to chip away, and they've massed around, and they have enough mass to be able to continue to chip away and maybe increase multiple directions trying to chip away or something like that. But I don't. If I'm reading this right, this isn't the 150,000 outside Pokrovsk isn't the boogeyman that we all were going, oh no, this is going to be bad. I don't think it's going to be one last blitz. Well, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Despite the month-on-month decreases, Russia recorded casualty rates since March 2025. Russia's significant losses continue. Russia has likely sustained approximately 300,000 casualties in the conflict so far in 2025. Think about that. 325,000 just this year, or 300,000 just this year, and approximately 1,080,000 casualties since the launch of the full-scale invasion. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like they're low numbers, but they're lower than what they were. They used to be up to like 1,500 or 1,700 or 1,800 or that sort of thing. Okay, just the Russians keep losing these aerial vehicles as well. These drones are, I mean, you have drones going after drones, and I could watch this kind of thing all day. Following Russia's drone attack in Poland, Europeans are reportedly scrambling to buy anti-Ukrainian drone systems kit from Kyiv, according to the Kyiv Independent. This week, the Ukrainian defense advisory firm saw a surge in inquiries from companies in Poland and Germany and the Baltic states. Okay, so this goes back to that video that I was talking about over here that you need to watch next. Please go back and watch this next. But this could go very well or very poorly depending on how it's done. If they're buying it from Ukraine, who needs them right now, or inflating the price by bidding on that, that becomes very bad. If they simply license it out and make more in Poland, that's good, because then you have more both for Poland and you have more that could potentially be sent back over into Ukraine. So it depends on how the NATO governments actually apply this. But I think what Putin's strategy was, if that video is correct, is it's going to actually work against Ukraine if they're not careful. Okay. Operators of air defense systems or drones in Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Active Operations Department shot down 40 Russian targets, including Lancet loitering munitions. And again, it's just more of the same kind of thing. Okay. One more thing, and then we're done with Darth Putin after this. So I made some recent changes here. Like, so you see the little map that's behind here, and I'm here either in this view or, you know, a little bit larger view. And I'm really curious what you think about what you're seeing here. So I put this poll out, said, I've made recent changes trying to make my videos look more appealing, though many of you just listen. I know that a lot of you just listen, and that's perfectly fine. So I put a survey. I have 999 votes. I'd like to hear from more of you. So some of you said it looks better with the map, or it looks the same, or it looks worse, or but the majority said I haven't even noticed. Perfectly fine. But if you'd go over to the posts on my YouTube channel and vote, I'd appreciate it, because I really want to know what you think about this. I mean, I did it because I'm trying to improve things, but if my improvements aren't improving, then I want to know that too. All right. Thank you so much for that, by the way. Okay. Last little bit by Darth Putin. On this day in 1939, Nazi Germany and USSR exchanged telegrams. The USSR wanted info on the Polish army ahead of plans to invade Poland's 17th September, which were related to Hitler. Of course, allies always do this kind of thing. Allies share this kind of information. And this is what was happening in 1939 on this day, before the Great Patriotic War. But this was after World War II had started, so we have to be fair about that. All right, last little bit, I want to give a shout out to one particular viewer. His name is Chuck Wells. Chuck Wells is a viewer that's been with me, a Patreon board member, and I appreciate it so much, Chuck. Thank you for your time and your willingness to support the channel. All right. That's all that I have. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the comments below. Thank you for the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.